Welcome to Truth Talkin Thursday. This is Jim. I'm Jane. And we've just been sitting here chatting a little bit, and I have this idea in my head about having a plan of attack and what that means. And so the way my mind is going is this. If there's some kind of a change you want to make, career, diet, exercise, belief-wise, I can't really think of anything else, but any kind of a change, how do you go about bringing that to fruition, if you will? And Jim's got some different ideas. He's laughing at me because I'm very I guess I'm in a mood. So my first reaction was kind of, well, if you don't like it, then later.
Hit the road.
Yeah, and he thinks it's a little harsh. So, what are you thinking that we're not going to agree on in this?
Oh, most of it probably, but it's an interesting topic because change is the one thing you can count on.
Exactly. True story.
Everything changes at some point, whether you like it or not, and all that kind of stuff. And I'm just wondering about how many people think about making changes in their lives, and that's a good thing. I mean, if you think that you need to make a change in your life in terms of what you're doing, a lifestyle, or how you choose to go about your business and all that kind of stuff, great, good for you. I'm not condemning that idea at all. How often do we not think about how the changes we're going to make affect those people around us, whether they're our kids, our partners, our business associates, our neighbors, family?
I have spent a lot of time bowing my will and conforming my will to others. So at the mood that I'm in present,
which is rather interesting, I might add.
I value people. I value the input they have in my life. Mm-hmm. I value the thoughts they express. I enjoy watching people. I enjoy listening to them. I enjoy learning how other people live and how they interpret things, whatever that may be, mm-hmm. thoughts, expectations, what have you. I enjoy that. But ultimately, what's stuck in my head right now is we are all living our own life. Mm-hmm. If you are not living your life in a way that you feel peaceful, confident, happy, what are you doing? What good is your life?
Okay. The other piece to that, the other side of that, is none of us live in a vacuum.
Oh, for sure.
We all have to, whether we like it or not, we all have to sort of find a way to get along with the people around us that are in our lives and out of our lives. And do I have the right? Do I have the right? And I'm not saying I do and I don't. I'm not saying you do and you don't. Do I have the right to inflict upon somebody else a change that I want to make just because I want to make it, knowing full well how it's going to be received and knowing full well how that's going to affect the quality of their lives? So do I have the right to interfere with that? Do we even think about how the decisions that we make every day, or the changes that we choose to make or think about making, do we ever consider how they affect the people around us, or do we just go ahead and do them and say, well, screw you, if you don't like it,
okay,
move on? So
let's flip it around the other way then. So how do we take a stand when people inflict their changes on us?
I can't change anything about that. The only thing I can change about that is whether or not I'm going to get upset by what they've done. I can't influence what other people choose to do and what they choose to change. But I do have a choice as to what I choose to change.
So in other words, what you're informing me is that my attitude has now become, if you can't beat them, join them.
Well, if that's what you get out of this conversation, I suppose. Would we find less grief and less resentment and less angry people and all that if we just thought about what affects the quality of their lives as well as what affects the quality of mine? That's all. Just do we think about and take into consideration other people that live on the planet besides just me?
So what makes people not consider that?
I think some of it is people get upset because they get shortchanged at some point.
Why do they do it?
Sometimes they just say, you know what, I'm tired of being walked on, or I'm tired of being not thought about, or whatever. I'm just going to go ahead and do it and screw the world. And so they do it. Whatever it happens to be. And I have no control over that.
Yeah.
But I do have
And I
control over
understand
what
that.
I do.
I understand that, and I agree with everything you're saying. I do think that there are times when it's actually the right thing to do, to take a stand and to make your own choices, even though you know it is going to affect someone else. And I guess I'd have to say, even if you know it's going to affect them in an adverse way, if ultimately the damage that is being done by staying in the situation you are, or by not making changes, maybe I shouldn't say damage, maybe I should say the effect. If the effect of continuing in the path that you're on is too negative, too big, then a change needs to be made, even if you don't want to make it. And it's unfortunate when you're brought to a situation where your back is against the wall and you don't feel like there is a good option, if you will, but a change does have to be made. So in the interim of changing something that can be changed, to have the belief that you still will end up where you want to be is necessary as well. But in the interim, it might be a little bit iffy. And
Yeah, if you discuss with somebody who's going to be adversely affected what you're going to do ahead of time and the reasons why you're doing it, at least they're not going to personalize it. Just so that somehow, in some way, that person knows that I considered their thoughts and feelings before I went ahead and did it. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to do it. It just means that I thought about how it might affect you before I did it, and I just want to let you know that I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway because it's in my best interest to do that.
Yep.
That's it.
So the best way to handle a situation that you're going to change is to consider others. First and foremost, consider how it's going to affect others as well as yourself before you go ahead and make those decisions.
But don't let their feedback to you change what you're thinking about doing.
Especially if it's something through considering and sharing with others that are important to you, especially if it's something that still feels right and important and necessary to you.
And the other thing for me, is at least that way I can't be surprised by your reactions either.
Have a great week.
Thanks for stopping by.